You come alive when you die, more alive than you ever are on the earth.
What happens at the exact moment we die? Is there awareness? Is there fear?
To remove the fear of death. So many people are scared to die.
Do we know we have died?
I had my own near-death experience when I was 21. I was told I had to return. I did not want to return. It is emotional. I started to talk to a young girl. I identified where her body had been hidden. She explained how she'd been killed, and I was able to pass that to the police officer. She came back and said thank you. With the spirit world, I felt contentment. I felt love, happiness. They can't take the grief away from their loved ones. You come alive when you die. It's not the end, it's the beginning.
Today in El Rincón, we welcome Anne Germain, medium, spiritual minister, and a woman who has spent her whole life helping people to connect to the other side. Anne, welcome, very welcome to El Rincón.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to come and meet with you.
Thank you for being here. Let's start.
Okay.
And you describe growing up in a large Victorian house where you interacted with people others couldn't see. At what point did you realize they were not part of the physical world? Did that realization come naturally, or was it frightening?
I think it's something I was always aware of as a child, but not necessarily aware of to put it into words. My sisters couldn't see the same as I was seeing, but I was able to talk with the spirits that were there. I could play with the children that were there. I was never afraid of them. It was just a natural progression to realize that maybe not everybody could see the people I saw, but it never worried me at all.
Wow. As a child, did you experience fear at any moment, or always was something natural? Did the spirit world feel more natural to you than the human one?
I think with the spirit world, I felt contentment. I felt love, happiness. I was able to interact with them either verbally, with the spoken word, or I could think and they would answer. I could play with them. They never disturbed me, whatever way they turned up. And they would turn up at some very strange times. When I was a child in the house, walking along the street, it would be adults looking at me and talking, and then I'm realizing that my mum and my dad, my mother and father, couldn't see who I was talking to. My mother was okay with spirit things, my father not so okay. So it was interesting to be able to see things and talk to people, but also interesting to say something was going to happen, and then it happened. And then it would be like, how did she know that? Well, it's what I do.
Wow. So your mother realized that you talk with someone?
Yes. My mum had an interest in spirit things, so it was something that, having lost her brother and family members in the Second World War, she had an interest that there was an afterlife. But she didn't expect her child to be the one starting to talk.
To be the channel.
To work, literally act as a channel for communication with another world. Or it's not another world, it's this world, but not this world.
Later you will answer me this question.
I will explain.
It's one of the most important.
Yes.
So, coming back to when you was a child, I know you were bullied at the school for being different. Looking back, how did that rejection shape the woman and the medium you became after that?
I think it made me much stronger as a child. It helped me to be there to stand up for anyone who wasn't strong enough to stand up for themselves if they were being bullied. And I even now will stand in the corner for someone if they're being bullied or they're not being accepted. I accept them. I'm here for them. I will fight for them on their behalf if I have to, but I will also help them fight for themselves. So they gave me a strength. They gave me an inner strength that allowed me to stand up, not just for myself, but for others as well.
It's a big problem, bullying.
It is a
nowadays.
very big problem. It's a very big problem. And unfortunately, as adults, we haven't helped it. We've allowed it to prolong for too many years. It's not sudden, it's always been there. But now children are ready, and adults in the workplace are ready to say, no, I'm not willing to be your piñata. I'm not willing to be your piñata. So I think it has to be with people standing up and saying no more. But it's hard to do that.
Yes, it's very hard. Wow. You've said spirits help you during exams and difficult moments. Do you feel they were guiding you, protecting you, or preparing you for your future role?
I think it was a little bit of they were guiding me and protecting me, because as a child you feel vulnerable if you're not the same as everybody else. I had dyslexia that was undiagnosed and not really very common knowledge in the 1960s when I was growing up. You were just assumed and labelled to be stupid.
Really?
And yes, my mother was told I would never learn to read and write. I would never amount to anything. I would be a wife with lots of children and not to worry about it. Well, yes, I'm a wife and I'm a very happy wife, but I don't have any physical children. The one that we had went straight back to spirit, so they helped me. They helped me learn to communicate with empathy and understanding and an inner strength, but also to keep my feet firmly on the ground.
Without ego.
Without ego. The minute your ego steps in, you have a big problem on this earth. We can't live with ego. You need a tiny, tiny ego. Otherwise, you would never do anything. But the biggest problem, some people's egos tell them they're wonderful, and some other people's egos tell them they're no good, they're rubbish. So you have to get the balance right of having the right sized ego.
How these spirits start to connect with you? Did you hear them? Did you feel them?
First of all, I was seeing them and hearing them. Seeing them. As a child, I just saw them. They were there. And hearing them because I was having a conversation, the way we're having a conversation. But as I grew up, they started to alter the way they communicated with me. I was still hearing them and seeing them, but I was also starting to feel them. I could feel if they were not well when they were on the earth, if they'd been ill. I could identify if they had medication in their system. I could identify how they passed, because they put all of those sensations on me. So they were teaching me spirit communication and building a vocabulary with me, our own dictionary of how to communicate with them and for them to communicate with me. so that I could communicate to somebody else what they were communicating to me.
Yeah, how to help other people.
Exactly, how to move that knowledge forward, how to take it and put it in a way that somebody else could understand and accept, which is obviously the hardest thing when someone's talking to someone they can't see.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you think that you've gone mad. And this lady here, she's completely mad. She thinks she talks to the dead. Well, I do talk to the dead. I know I'm not mad. If you don't like it, fine. You don't have to listen to me.
Exactly.
It's the people that don't like it and are afraid of it seem to be the ones that follow it and want to know more about it, but don't want to know more about it. It's very strange. I think.
Yes, it's very strange.
Haters will always hate, but they want to know why they're hating, so they have to come and check every now and again.
I think because they are afraid.
They're scared.
And in the end, they want to know more.
Yes. Yes. And one day they will have that one piece of evidence from a medium or from someone that leaves them thinking, I can't argue that now. I can't find the words to discredit that. I can't find a way to create a false narrative and create a different story when that actually happened. But sometimes they will try.
Yeah.
They do try.
You are a Christian spiritual minister, as I told before. How do you reconcile institutional religion with direct communication with the spirit world? Have you ever felt judged? Sorry for my pronunciation, judged by either side?
I have been judged by Christians. They are perfectly within their right if they want to judge me. I have no problem with that. The decision to carry the yoke of a ministership is very difficult and takes a lot of thought, because I knew that it would cause me challenging times, because it's not common to have a spiritual minister that can talk to the dead.
No, it's not usual.
No. So there are organisations and recognised religions within the United Kingdom of spiritualist Christian and just spiritualist. So I was ordained within a spiritual Christian organisation, a spiritual Christian and healing organisation, because we include healers within our belief within the spiritual. So that was something that was beautiful, something that I never ever felt I would be able to do, because as a child I wanted to be a nun, and my mum told me I was the wrong religion to become a nun. So I have got part of what I wanted in a different way, but I know that my spiritual ministership is there to help people. Orthodox religion has been corrupted, sadly, over the years in an attempt to control. And I think in the future, people are going to become more and more aware of that. And they're looking for something that is spiritual, but not an indoctrined. I can't get the words out.
With the religion.
With the religion.
Oh, yeah.
So that all of the religions are meant to complement each other. The strength of Islam, the gentle forgiveness of Buddhism, the love and compassion of Christianity, and amongst all of the others, that's only 3 of the religions, there are many of them. But if you put them all together without the egos, we complement each other and we make a strong leading edge force of good on the earth.
Yes, without the egos
without
of,
the
in
ego.
the religions,
Yes,
the most common is spiritually.
absolutely, spiritual. In the number of years I've been working as a minister and as an evidential medium, I've had clients come incognito, which are priests, nuns. I've had amazing communication from a lovely deacon in spirit. Also, I can't remember what he was. For me, I don't understand the Catholic religion very well anymore, because although I was taught it as a child, my mum taught us every single religion so we could make our own mind up. A deacon, is it a deacon? I can't remember. But he came and chatted to someone that came for a message, and I didn't realise that the gentleman was a priest. But he was a lovely man on the earth, the one I was talking to, and the people that came through from spirit were wonderful. Nuns and the holy people, monks, it was lovely. So when they get spirit side, the ego goes.
And let's move to the next block.
Okay.
And I want to go with death and the great mystery. After a lifetime communicating with the other side, and what is death for you? Is an end, a transition, or a return?
It's the return to my home. It's the start of a big adventure of taking the lessons I've learned here and building on them, but also helping those that are still on the earth, and to protect and enjoy being able to have that pure love and be part of that one energy of love and compassion and humanity. And so special. It's not the end, it's the beginning. It's like here we're in a earth-based body. We are spirits having a human experience. And we're here to have fun. We're here to have joy. We're not here to be sad, miserable, suffering, pain. But we're not taught the right things from being a child. And this goes back many hundreds of years, that life is meant to be happiness, not sadness.
Sure. What happens at the exact moment we die? And is there awareness? Is there fear? Do we know we have died?
We will all know that we have passed. With spirits, they gather around us before we die. They normally start to come around a week before.
1 week?
1 week before we pass. Now that can
Whoa.
be however we pass. That can be if we pass as a very old person in our bed, falling asleep. We may have an accident in war, murdered, or committed suicide. Our loved ones gather around us before, at least a week before. And the minute we step out of our body, our spirit is collected. And as one of our spirits will take our hand, literally take our hand and say, come on, come home. The energy that you feel is beautiful. You have to review your life. It's something we all do. Some start before they actually pass with dreams and talking to loved ones that are around them. And they will start that analysis to see where we were good, to see where we were bad, see where we helped, see where we hindered. But not one of us is ever on our own. The way of passing for everybody is different. If you have an understanding of, so I'm going to use Christianity as an example.
Okay.
If you have an understanding that if you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell, to go elsewhere. There is no hell.
No?
Nope, there is no hell. This is what
Audience? No
there
hell.
is no hell. There are different levels of spirit.
Ah.
You have the higher energies with the beautiful people, Jesus, Buddha, all of the different deities. They all go up to higher levels. Then you have us, we all come in on one level. But you also have some who have not been nice. So they don't come in on the middle level, they go down a level.
Okay.
Until such times as they have understood what they have done and repented. But it's not a hellfire and damnation. It's an area they have to learn to help. They are tasked to work, to help people on the earth.
An area to think about your life.
Exactly.
Review the grown things
Yes.
you have done.
To review where you were good and where you were bad. To review your greed. To review your hate. And to learn. When you learn, you move up. You can't move up until you've learned, but those who are higher can visit you.
What? How?
Because we are pure energy, it's like if your energy is very high, if you bring your energy down a little, you can visit lower energies. It's like an elevator. It's a very simplistic way of putting it, but it's like an elevator. I want to go and see...
To the first floor.
To the first floor, yes. I want to go to the basement today, or I want to go up. I want to go and see God today. So you get in the elevator and you go and see God, but you take your energy up. You raise your energy to do that.
And Jesus and Buddha and so on, they are on the
all,
rooftop.
But they're all there. If you want to see them, they will welcome you. There is no barrier. There is no barrier in love.
Wow. Is the other side a place, a dimension, or a state of consciousness? How do spirits describe where they are?
They describe it as all of them. It is a state of consciousness. Life is a state of consciousness. Here we have a physical body. When we go to spirit, we still have the state of consciousness, but without the physical body. However, if we would like to have a physical body, we can manifest a physical body.
Through a medium?
No. In spirit, you can manifest to have your own physical body if you want.
How?
Because you think to have a body and you will create a body.
You create your
reality. Your own reality. So it is a dimension, but it's not a dimension. It's a plane, but it's not a plane. It's physics. It's all of the molecules and energies all together, but you can create it into a world if you wish.
So it's like a dream?
Like a dream. If you wish to have it like a dream, you can have it like a dream. There is so much information about spirit that has not been explained in an easier fashion, an easier way. People love to put complications and difficult things related to the earth onto spirit.
Yes, because we are thinking with our mind.
Exactly. We're thinking with our minds and we're thinking of a material existence. Spirit has no material existence. It is a pure energy format, and the energy is the format of love. So it is yes and it isn't. It's very difficult to explain. It is what you want it to be.
And I want to talk about near-death experiences because many people who have had this kind of experience speak of tunnels, light, peace, or encounters with loved ones. From your perspective, are these experiences a glimpse of the same place spirits inhabit? Why are some people allowed to come back, to return?
Near-death experiences have been ridiculed in the past. a lot, but now they're beginning to accept them for what they are.
Yeah,
That
sure.
there is actually an experience when you pass, and it's too similar for people to have the same experience. It's not as if one person has this experience and another person has that experience. They're all very, very similar. I had my own near-death experience when I was 21 with an
Wow.
emergency surgery that my body doesn't deal well with anesthetic, as we found out in that surgery. And I left my body. I was floating above myself in the operating theatre. And my great-grandmother and my auntie took my hand and said, "Come with us for a little while." I went into what to me appeared to be a beautiful cathedral. Now, because I was brought up within a Christian environment, to me a cathedral made sense. But if I'd been agnostic, I may have found myself in a meadow or in a forest or by a waterfall. Every person will be taken to somewhere that makes sense for them, that is calming and tranquil. I found myself in what was a cathedral, but with no pews or seats, but rows and rows of beds. And in each bed, I was seeing other people materialize. And I was sitting quite happily on my bed. Walking amongst the beds were glowing figures, which I now know and understand as angelic beings. So they are the true angels. They were walking amongst the beds, helping the people that were coming into spirit. My aunt was there, my great-grandmother was there, my guides were there. My aunt said, "Look under the bed." And when I looked under the bed, the dog, Julie, that I had as a child, that had been hit by a car, she was sitting under the bed in her bed, curled up, quite happy asleep. I thought I was there hours, having conversations with family, with guides. My main guide, who's a Native American, is called Tall Trees. He's been with me since I was tiny. He is a very big gentleman, very tall. He explained to me what my life was going to encompass, and that they were very sorry, but I couldn't stay there, that I had to come back, that I had work to do for spirit, that although I wasn't enamored with the idea, it was not something I wanted to do, that I had a lot of people that I had to help, and that there would be many countries that I would visit. I was 21. I wanted a family. I wasn't intent on listening to what he was saying. I was told I had to return. I did not want to return.
No.
No, I did not want to return. I wanted to
Why?
stay there. Oh, the energy was so beautiful.
That is similar in
So
other
sweet.
near-death experiences.
It
They
was
don't want to
beautiful.
come back.
I did not want to come back. But I had to come back. I had lessons to teach, I'd been told. I still had lessons to learn. So I was returned to my body. I thought I'd been gone hours. I was only gone for less than 70 seconds. So just over a minute, and I was brought back. And I wasn't very happy about being back. I did suffer depression for a little while after coming back, but I had a new role that I needed to do and a new way forward. And that's when a lot of decisions were made in my life following the conversation, and I started a new life involving my spirit work.
Wow. It's the first time that I hear that you had a near-death experience.
It's not something that some people who have been to public events, I've spoken about it, but it's not something that I talk a lot about because it's private. And also, it was such a moving experience. It makes me very emotional to talk about it because I didn't want to come back. And I would have missed out on so much if I hadn't have come back. I would have missed out on marrying my husband. I would have missed out on meeting my nieces and nephews. You know, it would have been very difficult, but it was the right thing to come back.
Yes. Did you understood after the experience why you have this experience? Why you?
Why not me? Why not me? We spend too much time thinking, why me? Why me? Why did I have to have this? Why did I have to have that? Or why did I not ever have children? Well, why not? Why should I be any different from somebody else? Why shouldn't I have had that experience to learn that I had a job to do here that was not going to be easy, but it would be rewarded eventually when I return home. So why not me?
Wow, thank you for sharing this.
You're welcome. It is emotion.
Yes, really. So why do you think other people's, not your case, but what do you think certain people experience near-death experiences or near-death events, and while others don't in general?
I think in general, they are people who are respected, and very often they are people who do not believe in an afterlife, and they're adamant there is no such thing. You know, when you die, it just goes black. And I think they are given that as a lesson to be able to come back and teach it to others, to remove the fear of death. So many people are scared to die, when in reality, you come alive when you die, more alive than you ever are on the earth. It's amazing. And I think they're given a blessing to share that knowledge. And very few people keep quiet about it. It's like, you know, they want to share that knowledge. They want to have people understand that death is not the end, it's the beginning.
Now there are a lot of people sharing these experiences. Absolutely. Because now it's easy to listen this kind of things.
It's much easier now to listen and understand that just because historically they said you stop, you die, you don't ever interact or come backwards and speak again. It's easier with the media now to share a story and to share the truth and to lose the mysticism that has been spread over the years. And I think that's the biggest problem, the mystery, the mysticism, and the fear.
And the fear, yes, fear.
The fear.
It's the worst.
It is, because nobody should fear death. Nobody should fear death, but you should be respectful to go when it's the right time.
But I think fear is a way to control people.
Completely, completely. And it is sad because often it has been Orthodox religion that have used the fear. If you don't do this, you'll die and you'll go to hell. If you do that, you'll die and you'll go to hell. You have to do what we tell you, and only what we tell you.
If there is one essential message that the spirits repeat again and again, what is it?
Love.
Love.
Love. We have been given phenomenal hearts, phenomenal emotions. They want us to learn to love, not to hate.
We are doing completely the opposite.
Yes, exactly. We are doing everything the complete opposite to what Spirit wants us to do for our own happiness. And I can quite happily, with my hand on my heart, say, I do not hate anybody. I do not hate anything. I don't like things. I'm human. I don't like things, but I don't hate anything. Hate is destructive. And it's destructive to the spirit, and it's destructive to your own soul. So you should try to walk away from hate. It's okay to not like, but it's wrong to hate. But if you could, try and love in place, because then your life will be happy.
Let's move on to the next block, because I want to introduce lost souls and finish your stories and helping the living. So, do spirits ever remain trapped between worlds? Why does this happen, if it's happened? And how common is it?
I'm going to upset a lot of people now. There is no such thing as a lost or trapped soul.
No.
No. When we pass, we are collected. We are taken to spirit. We can have a choice to come back. Some choose to come back. Some choose to come back and help. Some choose to come back because they're angry. Some choose to come back because they're not particularly nice people. That's where you get things like hauntings of houses and not nice energies.
Haunted houses?
Yes.
Ah.
Very often it'll be someone that's decided that they don't want somebody else in their house, so they will come and haunt a house. They can be moved on. We are in control on the earth. We can request that they leave, and they have to go. But they're not trapped.
They decide.
They decide.
That's the difference.
Is the difference. They decide to come here, and they can equally decide to go back. When we go, we do not go until the exact moment we have completed every single lesson we have to learn. We've accomplished everything we need to do. We have nothing left to do. So there is no unfinished business. Our last lesson is a lesson that we give others, and that is when we go, they feel loss. And that loss is a lesson, and it's the hardest lesson for us to give, because we never want our loved ones to feel pain of loss, but it is the final lesson we have.
Wow. When a spirit is lost or confused in that position that you have explained, how do you help them cross over? What does that process look like for you? Is it difficult for you as a channel?
No, it's very easy, because you just have to get them to realize that this is not the place they need to be. And then they have loved ones in spirit who want them there. So you can direct them to the light. There are a lot of people called light workers on the earth, and a lot of them don't know they're light workers. Then during the night in their sleep state, their energy, because it is so pure, helps move the spirits to where they're meant to be. And they don't really realize they're doing it. They are very busy now around the world, the light workers. And that is because we have wars. Here recently we had 2 horrific train crashes in Spain, where there was such a loss of life so suddenly. Light workers will have been helping them. We feel that something has happened. We don't necessarily know what it is, but what we do when we feel that is we send prayers up, we send light, we send thoughts, and Spirit will use that energy to help make sure that everybody is moved into the right healing areas at the right time. So they are never alone, because they've already got family with them, and they will have had family with them for about a week before, because Spirit know the second we are going to leave, even if it's in such a tragic circumstances as train crashes or war, murder.
That's incredible.
Spirit know. We're allotted a time, and when we finished, we go back. We may not think we finished, but Spirit know what we need to do.
Spirit knows.
Spirit knows.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's incredible.
It makes spirit work amazing, and a privilege to work with them. And I have met over the years some amazing evidential mediums that have now been able to do what they do, because I decided to accept an offer to do something which was only meant to be a trial pilot. But yes.
Regarding unsolved cases and disappearances, have you ever participated in cases involving missing persons, whether alive or deceased? How do you handle the responsibility and emotional weight of those situations?
It is a big responsibility, and it is very difficult because for a few moments you become emotionally involved. I have, at the request of family, helped, but this is where I have a quandary, because I've always worked to a very high ethical code, and when a private session is private, I don't normally talk about it, but I can give you a general ideas. I'm not going to use names or anything because it's really not fair.
I understand.
Okay. This did happen. It's happened in the UK, but I've also done something similar in Spain. In the UK, a family of a missing girl, she'd been missing for 48 hours, 72 hours at the most, I think. And the family asked the detectives if they would come and see me and ask if I could help them find out where she was. Initially, it was thought she was being held against her will somewhere for various reasons. The police officer didn't believe in anything, which I'm fine with. It's okay. I'd rather they came not believing than expecting a miracle. They brought me a picture of her, and they brought me a map. And on the map, I was able to identify an area, and then I was able to take the area down smaller and smaller and smaller. I started to talk to a young girl. Then I realized that I was going to have to tell the detective that they weren't looking for a young girl, they were looking for a young girl's body. I identified where her body had been hidden. The police had been searching in that area, but it was so overgrown. Even if they were pushing the rods in to look into the brambles and everything, they would not have realized that there was a cabinet or a building, like a stone building, that her body had been placed in. I was able to identify the flowers, everything that was in the room cupboard. She explained how she'd been killed, and I was able to pass that to the police officer. That's very difficult. She's a young girl. They had been looking in that area. They had walked past that area. But it's very hard to have to say to someone, you've got to go back to that lady and tell her that you're looking for a body. She was found later that evening in exactly the same place as described. They identified it by the flowers, that they were in the right place, the flowers that she'd described. And that's hard because she was at the start of her life. I know it was the right time for her to go, but to have to pass that pain to the parents, it is a horrible thing to have to do. But the little girl, she came back and said thank you for allowing her to be rejoined with her family. But it's still hard. She was happy. They did come for a session a few years later when they were able to deal with the pain.
Wow, it's really helpful for this family and for the police, this kind of help.
But you also have the ones where you have someone that's missing, that you know they're alive, but then when you start to look through the maps, you start to get the sensation you're then looking for a body.
For a body.
And that's very difficult. And there was a young man here in Spain. We tried really hard. I found the location, but the area is so big, and with no sites that I could actually say, you need to look for this rock or you need to look for this tree, because it was such a large area. I don't know if he was found in the end or not. The family didn't come back. I didn't need them to come back. But I know he's happy. But sometimes...
The spirit is in other place.
Absolutely. The hardest thing is for the mothers, I think, and the fathers.
Exactly, because they need to find
the
body.
They need the closure. Obviously, brothers and sisters, husbands, wives, children, they all need closure, but sometimes you don't get the closure. Maybe that was the lesson he was there to teach. I don't know. But it's hard because I want to be able to reunite families. I did reunite one family that he was looking for family in Germany. It's an Oriental gentleman looking for his family in Germany. He'd not found them. I took him to a village on a map and said, look, in that village, he found his family.
Wow.
So it can work where you get reunited with the family. And their family had split up when he was tiny through family arguments, but he found them in a small village in Germany.
In that situation, Anne, maybe some spirits don't want to be founded?
If they don't want to be found, there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. No medium can. If a spirit doesn't want to talk...
It's not a bad medium, it's because spirits don't want.
The spirit don't want to talk. Obviously, mediums, we all come in different shapes and sizes with different abilities. I'm not going to say that you get a bad medium, but maybe you get a medium not on their best day. That not everybody has had the opportunity to train and to learn to develop from being a young child with the help of the spirits because their parents weren't scared. And I think it's down to my parents not being scared that I've been able to link so clearly with spirit. But if they don't want to talk to me, nothing I can do about it.
Nothing to do. So can you share another real cases where you work brought peace, answers, or closure to a family? One that has stayed with you over the years?
Apart from the little girl, there was a family, when I was working in Gibraltar, a young lady came. She didn't know what she was going to get as an answer. All she did, she came for a reading. She didn't tell me. I never know who the clients are. I never even know who their names are most of the time. That's how I prefer it. I had a young man come through. He was giving information about being on a boat, about the fact that he'd slipped, he'd hit his head, he'd fallen out of the boat, that other people were trying to pull him and get him back into the boat. The Coast Guard was getting closer, and the young man said, "Leave me, go, leave me." They were drug runners, and she didn't know where he was. His body never washed up, but she was convinced that they'd murdered him, and that was not the case. They didn't leave him. He told them to go, because they would have all ended up in prison, obviously. I believe they probably will end up in prison anyway with the life choice they've made of importing drugs illegally. But she was able to rest knowing that they didn't desert him. He told them to go. So she felt calmer that he wasn't murdered. It was manslaughter, but he's not murdered because it was his insistence that they go. It's very difficult, but that was a very emotional one.
Yeah.
To have to say that your husband told them to leave him. He told them. It's not their fault.
Thank you. Let's move to the next blog, because I want to know more about the human, not the medium, the human behind the medium. Your husband, Keith, has been by your side for over many years.
Yes.
What has his support means to you on a personal and a spiritual level? And
Keith is an amazing man. He's gentle, he is strong, he's stubborn, he knows what I do, he understands what I do and accepts everything about my spirit work. He's a lovely healer, but he doesn't want to use it. He keeps me sane. Everybody thinks that I've got this crazy life in the big houses. No, I have just a crazy life that a normal housewife has. I just have a crazy job. I like to read. I like to listen to music. Keith likes music. He lets me travel the world doing my work. I don't know many husbands that would have the strength to do that, to actually let their wife go and do the work that I do, because it's not without controversy. And it has landed on him. He's an engineer. He is a very analytical mind. He loves his aircraft.
The opposite.
Complete opposite to me. He's a Taurian, I'm an Aries. I don't know much about star signs, but apparently we're not meant to get on, but we do. He loves animals. We would both have loved children. It wasn't meant to be. But we have 2 cats in the UK, one which is Spanish. She came from Spain. I took her, rescued her and took her to the UK. My family accept me for who I am. My friends, I'm very careful now with friends.
With your friends.
Because not everybody wants to be your friend just to be your friend. And I found out the hard way that people I thought and treated as friends were not necessarily the friends I thought they were. So I don't always tell people who I am. So there's a lot of people here in Spain that didn't know who I was until they saw me fully made up. And because I don't always wear makeup, I'm very, very pale, very blonde. And I can now disappear in the supermarket without people looking at me. It's like they look and it's like, I think I know that lady, but I don't know why. The ability to just be me is amazing. I'm been married for 41 years on St. Valentine's Day.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I know it's very common here in Spain, but it's almost unheard of in the UK. If the toilet needs cleaning at home, I'm the one that does it. If the ironing needs doing, it's either Keith or I. It depends who gets to the iron first. We both do the washing, we both do the cleaning. I'm just a normal
Keith is
person.
your perfect partner.
He is my perfect partner.
Take care with other women.
I do a lot to love him. Women adore him, but I'm at the top of the queue. He can look after them, he can do what he wants, but I'm the top of the queue. He is very rare in the family of men. He can cook and clean. He knows how to use a washing machine, and he can know how to iron. He's perfect.
It seems to be a lovely man.
He is a lovely man. I'm very, very lucky. I'm very grateful that he came in front of me when he did. And it was the first meeting, and we've not been apart since. We moved in together after 6 weeks.
Only 6 weeks.
6 weeks. We knew we were meant for each other, and we were lucky it works.
Wow. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So, does Keith experience the spirit world himself? Or is his role one of trust and grounding? You told before that he's some kind of
He is
healer?
a healer, yes. He has a beautiful ability with people. He's a wonderful listener, and healing is also listening. But he has the ability to put hands on, but he doesn't do it unless it's the animals or if I have a bad headache or something. He will give me the healing if I need it. He has had his own experiences, but as the engineer, it's always looking for the exact, how can that have happened? Maybe it's this, maybe it's that.
He is on the van of science.
He's on the side of science, but he does know there are some things he cannot explain. So he accepts that there is definitely something that I'm doing. And he knows that I've given information that nobody knows or knew, and that he didn't know, that he had to go and find out from relatives that he has very few of, because his parents died when he was very young. And the family was very disjointed, very split for various reasons. And it's only recently that he has actually been able to come into contact with some family, have been able to tell
Through
him
you or
of his family.
Of his family.
And on the earth, and they've actually been able to confirm some of the things that I've said were correct. So it's like, he had his own evidence.
His own experience.
His own experience, but it's like, he's still going to follow the scientific pathway, which is the right pathway for him.
He respects you and you respect him.
Absolutely. He is my anchor, my rock. He keeps me grounded on the earth. I'm always going to be Keith's wife, because every time someone says my name of Anne Germain, they remind me I'm his wife, because Germain is his name. I took his name when we married, which is the English way of doing things.
Is the English way.
It is the British way. We take our husbands. They don't always do it now. They put the two names together. But when we married, it was you took your husband's name. So I took his name.
So Anne, what's your real name?
Anne is my real name.
And the surname?
The original surname
Original.
is Greeno.
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 Anne Greeno.
Yeah. So, and I have a second name of Elizabeth, but we don't normally say it at the same time. So everyone says Anne Germain.
Yes.
I'm always,
everybody knows you with Anne Germain.
As Anne Germain. And that's a beautiful
but
reminder
now
to
we
me.
know Germain is from Keith.
Is from Keith. So every time it reminds me that I have an amazing man standing.
Your family.
My family. My man is standing beside me. He's always there. He's my rock.
You once say the human world can feel lonely when you perceive more than others, no? With the bullying from when you were a child. Do you ever wish you could turn your gift off?
No.
No.
I love the fact that I have that ability. I'm never lonely, and I'm never alone. But when I was about 13, I had a bit of a emotional crisis, like most teenagers do. That the noise, the constant voices, pictures, people around me, it left me feeling very overwhelmed. So my guide took me for a walk into a cemetery and said, if ever you're feeling overwhelmed, come and sit in here. You will find peace and quiet and silence. Spirits only come here when their families come, and they leave when their families leave. They are not here. They're not resident. Their physical body may be, but they're not.
But not the spirits.
Not the spirit. The spirit is with the family.
Only when the family come to visit.
Then the spirits come. But when the family leaves, the spirit leaves as well. They
use this channel following our traditional, our culture, to go to the cemetery.
Yes, and
because can we connect with them in other ways?
You can connect with them in many ways. Spirit bring so much evidence through to you that we don't take notice of. Lights flashing.
We don't listen.
We don't listen. They love to hide remote controls. One of the first things Spirit learned to do is hide remote controls for televisions. Hiding mobiles. They love to hide mobiles. They hide keys. You'll be looking everywhere for them. Look on the table. They're not there. Look around the house. They come back and they're there. Spirit love to do that, to let you know that they're there. They turn televisions on and off. They turn lights on and off. They make microwaves ping as if a meal has finished cooking and nobody's put the microwave on. The oven will ping. The dishwasher will start on
Maybe
its
they
own.
think we are stupid.
They do often think we're stupid. They think that we're not listening.
These humans are not listening.
You ask me to let you know I'm here. I'm doing it. Listen, please. You know, they make shadows.
And we are ignoring completely.
Completely, because we don't know what to look for. When you know what to look for, you start to see the evidence of walking into the supermarket and all of a sudden your grandmother's favorite song comes on.
Ah, yes, when you say casuality.
There's no such thing as a casuality. Walking into a kitchen and you can't find something, and you say, please, I need you to find it for me. You may ask St. Anthony to find it for you, because he will often find it. But if not, Dad, please put the knife somewhere I can find it, and then it will appear. And you'll have looked there, but they will put it there for you. They love to interact with us. They touch your face, and you'll feel as if you've got a spider or hair on your face. And when you get that, you'll get the goosebumps at the same time. That is spirit. Because they love to touch you. They will touch you on the arms and make the goosebumps come. It's just to let you know that they're there.
Yeah.
They don't want you to think they're ignoring you.
And it's difficult for them to touch you?
Initially, yes. They have to learn to build their energy. If they passed following a long illness, they would be very tired. So it takes them a while to gain the energy. It's like driving a car. On the earth, you have to learn to drive a car. In spirit, you have to learn to control your new energy. It's exactly the same. So you may get a few slammed doors by mistake when they're using their energy because they don't know how to control it. It takes about 6 months for them to learn to control the energy, to be able to come back whenever they please, to come backwards and forwards. 12 months, they're able to communicate well, normally with a experienced medium, but only if they want to.
Like a baby, no?
Like
in the human bodies.
Exactly.
When we start to learn to walk.
Absolutely, you have to learn.
1 year, more or less.
1 year, yeah. But also, they need time to understand that they can't take the grief away from their loved ones. So they have to learn that the loved one has to go through that pain. They have to go through that grief. And it's difficult for the loved one on the earth emotionally. For the spirit, it's not so painful, but they want to help.
Yes,
And
maybe they are upset.
It's not so much that they're upset. They want to alleviate the pain. It doesn't cause them upset because they don't have the same feelings of pain that we have on the earth, because for us it's material. It's a material pain. For them it's not. But they want to help. They don't want to see their loved ones sad. And when they do get the opportunity to communicate, and if they're really strong, it can be an amazing experience.
Wow. Outside the medium, Anne, who is Anne Germain in her daily life? What brings you peace when the noise stops?
Well, as I say, the noise never stops, but
Never
stops.
Wow.
My family, my friends, and I have friends in the UK, but I've also developed friends here in Spain, mainly amongst the Spanish, because I'm not in an English community. Where I live is a Spanish community, so I live in Spain, so I want to be with the Spanish. But reading, music, I like to learn the piano. I play it very badly, but I like to enjoy it. I love to read.
It's very difficult to play the piano.
It is very difficult to play a piano. I love to read. I love to write. I am planning on writing manuals on helping people to develop their ability and how to understand about spirit more. There's so many things that I want to do that it's having the time to do them. But basically, being with people, helping people, teaching people. I've never stopped working, and I don't suppose I ever will stop working, because when I finish on this earth, I'll go to spirit and start working again.
This is for your whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. I have my birds, my big parrots, the 2 disabled parrots that I have that keep me occupied.
Your television work reached millions in Spain, and do you feel television helped normalize conversations about death and grief, or did it sometimes oversimplify your work?
It definitely helped break down some barriers for people to understand that death isn't the end, but it also allowed people to talk more freely about the fear they have of death.
Sure.
And that maybe it wasn't such a scary place to go. I think that the television and the media did oversimplify the way the ability manifests, because it looks very easy, but that's because I make it look very easy. I've had a whole life training to be able to do this. I have the necessity to meditate, and not just for 5 minutes. I can, if I need to, meditate for 7 or 8 hours. That's a lot of skill and dedication. And
love of dedication.
I do not accept a messy message. It has to be clear. It has to be accurate. And spirit do talk in riddles. They wrap things so that only the person the message is for will understand. But I have to know how to explain that message so that they do understand. It's meant learning a complete vocabulary to work with spirit, but also learn the culture of different people, because the British culture is very different to the Portuguese culture, which is very different to the Spanish culture. And I've worked in all of those cultures, and I've had to understand how to work with spirit in a way that doesn't give fear to somebody receiving a message. So I will never pass a message to someone if they don't ask for it. Because ethically, I don't know the state of mind of that person. And with the television show, both in Portugal and Spain, I had psychologists working with the audience, because I don't know the mental state of people. It's not about receiving a message, it's about not receiving a message.
To support
They
their
have to
reactions.
Absolutely, because not everybody was going to get a message. I had to know that the psychologists were there to help them to deal with not getting a message. Were they strong enough not to get a message? And also equally, were they strong enough to get a message and to get a message in public? Because it would be so wrong to get gratification cheap from somebody's grief, somebody's pain. So everything about the television, I will say, from the production company through to Telecinco Mediaset, they dealt with everything with great compassion and great care. I will say that for them, that they did deal with it very well.
Were there moments when you felt television crossed emotional or spiritual boundaries? How did you protect yourself and others?
With me, they were very, very good. We can lay claim to the fact that in Spain, the only television program that never had to pay the audience after the first 2 shows was my program. They never paid an audience member. They had a waiting list of thousands.
1,000 people.
Thousands. To me, we had one event where a member of the public was drunk.
Drunk?
They were drunk and they were drinking beer in the plateau. I'm sorry, not acceptable. That is from then, that time onwards, that never happened again. No person ever came in unless they chose to come in. Because it's no good giving a message to someone who doesn't want one. It's not appropriate.
No.
So from that event, from that time on, there was never an audience member paid to be in there. Well, obviously, the VIPs got paid, and the VIPs I only met for moments while I was on the set. I didn't see them before, I didn't see them after. There was only one who was rude to... They can be rude to me, it really doesn't matter. I'm not worried about that, but they were rude to their grandparents and their family. That is not acceptable in
With
my
the spirits?
eyes. With the spirits, they were rude to the spirits.
Wow.
To me, that is not acceptable. Karma will get them eventually, that is their problem. But I think that respect of the spirit world has got to be paramount. You know, they are way more powerful than we are. Way more powerful than we are. And they have earned that respect by doing their time on the earth. So to be disrespectful is bad. And I have been disrespected by people. There are some people I know would cheerfully have burnt me at the stake, and they've told me that to my face. And there are people who, for no reason at all, have stalked me and seem fanatical. It's like they don't believe it, but they're stalking me, and it's sad because what have I done to them? You know, I forgive them. It's their problem, not mine. They can think what they want. It's not.
Well, they are haters.
Yes, it's their problem, not mine. If they want to hate, they hate. It's sad because they're building karma for themselves. And I don't want anyone to have to build negative karma. Positive karma, yes. Negative, no.
If you could go back, Anne, would you repeat that chapter of your life exactly as it was, or would you choose a different path?
I would repeat my whole life, every single chapter again.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Because I would not be me if I altered something. I would not have the depth of understanding. I would not have the compassion, the humility, and the ability to be there for other people when they need someone to be strong for them. If I hadn't have gone through all those lessons, I've forgiven people. You know, they don't deserve free rent in my brain, so I don't give it to them. So it's their problem. And I would do it all again, the good and the bad.
Young mediums are now widely accepted through platforms like Netflix, as Henry Tyler, for example. Do you feel society is finally ready for these conversations? We are ready for speak about death, afterlife?
I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. There are some amazing mediums, evidential mediums coming up that are little. Some of them, that as I watch them and I see the auras and the way in which that they're learning, they often have very challenging lives. They have medical conditions. They have some of the conditions that are deemed to be negative, like ADHD, autism, but they have abilities to communicate in different ways. And until we are able to help them, they are the ones that will be helping the ones that come on in the future. they will be the ones that are able to have a conversation without fear. They are the ones that will be able to say, okay, we're here for this life. We're here to have fun. We're here to have joy. We're here to spread goodness around the world and to not be greedy and not to be jealous and all of the other negative things that we do. We're here to help each other. Let's learn. Let's make this world a better place. We're at the leading edge of this society, then we go back. And then we'll choose in the future to come again, maybe. But I put my head above the parapet to get shot at by being one of the first mediums in Spain. I think maybe the first medium in Spain, evidential medium, to stand up and...
15 years ago.
Yes, 15
on the television,
at least 15.
in Portugal and Spain.
Yes, 2009, 10 in Portugal, 2010, 11, 12 in Spain. And people still remember me. And that, to me, that is so humbling. But yes, people are beginning to get there, being able to speak without fear. That's special.
Maybe now we are in another moment.
I think so.
And that kind of programs are different.
Yes.
No? Now I think from more respectful point of view and
so.
open mind.
The open mind is a necessity. The respect, absolutely. I've seen someone that followed on one of the programs I was on, decided they were going to tell a member of the public that your son is dead without any warning, no psychologists available. That is so wrong. Sensationalism. This is a very delicate subject, a very special, enlightening subject. It needs to be dealt with respect. And just to tell somebody your family member is dead should never be done on camera. And it should be done in private, not sensationalized.
Oh, because maybe this person will have a trauma after
They could have
that.
had a heart attack.
Heart attack, imagine.
Yes, it's wrong. It's wrong.
Wow. Let's go to the last few questions,
Okay.
Anne. From England to Spain, to Iberia, from Portugal and Spain. Your life has taken you from England to Portugal, then to Spain. How have these places shaped your spirituality?
I think I learned a lot on my pathway. First in Portugal, it seemed to be such a sad country. Everybody, listening to Faldo, the music, is so sad. And I think there is so much there that is spiritual that they've not looked at that is beautiful. They've looked at the sadness of the life and everything. And I think to be able to see the beauty there, maybe I've opened some people's eyes that there's beauty there, but I know that I learned so much about love and compassion, but also about how to deal with sadness and to try and break the egg of sadness because they seem to be trapped in that egg. And it's a Fabergé egg, it's beautiful. You know, you need to see the beauty inside. And then coming to Spain, so many amazingly wonderful, welcoming people. The Portuguese are welcoming, but they are, I think it's a little further north maybe, that they have a different energy. The Spanish, open arms, open houses, you know, self-critical. They criticize themselves too much, the Spanish. Don't think they do well enough, but they do more than well enough. But an amazing people. And Spain is my home now. I don't see me living anywhere else.
Forever in Spain.
Forever in Spain. This is where I live. I have just been granted my permanent residence, so I'm very happy I'm a permanent resident. But, you know, it's an amazing country. An amazing country. And I'm privileged to live here.
With the sun
with the sun.
in the Alicante area.
Yes, down in the Alicante area, it's beautiful. I'm semi-retired, so I get a little bit more time, but semi-retired.
You are once again connecting with that audience live.
Yes.
What does direct human presence give you that television never could?
I think being able to actually, at the end of a show, these aren't huge, great shows that I do now, they're small. Being able to stand and hug somebody and feel the fact that they feel different. When I see the audience come in, I see the sadness, I see the heaviness. And when they leave with a completely different aspect. They're happy, they're smiling. Yeah, we have tears in the events. We also have a lot of laughter. We have spirit playing with the mics and the sound system. We have people being very, I don't believe in any of this. I've only been dragged here by the girlfriend, the wife. And then they get a message. And it's like at the end, they come up and they say, I'm sorry. I was very disrespectful. I did not believe in any of this. And you have just said something to me that nobody, and I mean nobody, could have known. And I wasn't thinking about it, and I've only found out about it recently. And I also get emails. I was at an event and you linked with my husband. He didn't believe in any of this, but you stopped him drinking alcohol. And I don't know how I do that, but that is, if I've made one person in an event understand that spirit is there and to feel their loved one, then I've done my job.
For sure.
Absolutely. The events, to see the spirits running around, everybody has about 10 of them. And that's a crowded room and it's very noisy and it's hard work trying to listen to just one at a time. And they're jumping all over the place and they're having great fun, especially the children. The children in spirit are amazing. And then I have the animals. Obviously, animals can't talk, but they walk around and they'll go to who they belong to. And that love is an amazing feeling to get given. And that is what I feel. And for me to just try and give some of that love back, you can't get that in a studio. You feel the love of the spirits that are there, but I can't interact in the same way. You know, it was very sedentary. I had to stay still.
Do you believe communication with the spirit world heals grief in a way traditional psychology cannot, or do they complement each other?
They complement each other. Grief is a very personal thing. Yes, it has a set pattern over 12 months. You have the anger, the disbelief. I've had psychologists and psychiatrists send their patients to me to have a session because they didn't know what else to do, because they've tried everything that is traditional, that is orthodox. They send the person to me. I don't know that they've sent them to me. They've just booked an appointment, same as everybody else. I don't speak to them. I don't interact with them before the event. And then the son or a daughter or a mother or a father comes through, and it's as if a light goes on inside of them. And then they go back to their psychiatrist or psychologist and says, I'm on the pathway now.
Well, maybe you work as a team, no?
I think it is very much a teamwork, because I can't do what a psychologist can do. You know, they're professional, they know what they're doing. I can't do what a psychiatrist can do, but equally they can't do what I can do. So we have to complement each other. Otherwise, there will never be closure for some of these people.
And to trust in each other without
Absolutely.
egos.
Yes, the ego is the problem on the earth, unfortunately. I try and keep mine squashed down where it belongs. And if I don't keep it, Keith makes sure it gets put back where it belongs. But I've never been particularly egotistical. I don't do the diva. I think that's the way that the makeup artist once said. We don't have a diva, because I just let them do what they want. That this is my makeup, this is me doing my own makeup. But I had to learn to do my makeup when I first started doing hairdressing. You learn to have no ego in hairdressing.
Wow. This is one of the last questions, Anne. What would you say to someone who has just lost a loved one and feels completely alone? I wondered this message, maybe you can send to the audience directly, because I think that most of people are in that situation.
Think so.
And this is your camera for your
Okay.
final message.
Thank you. If you have recently lost someone, please, there are no words that anybody can say that will help. You have a pain that only you can feel, but it does improve, I promise. If you want to visit the cemetery every day, visit the cemetery every day. Your loved ones will go with you. They will come back with you. If you want to sit and hold their jumper and talk to a toy, if it's a child, do it. You know, only you know when you're ready to move forward. If you want to see a medium, but try and wait. Leave the spirit, your loved one, long enough to learn to communicate. If you want to have the ashes at home, have the ashes at home. Talk to them. Spirits will listen. They are standing beside you, and sometimes you will be overwhelmed with grief, but that is because they're giving you a hug, trying to take your pain away. If I could take your pain away, I would. I would take everybody's pain away. I know what it feels like. But it's the only thing is time. Allow yourself time. I think that is the only thing I can say.
And when your own moment comes one day, do you face it with curiosity, peace, or certainty?
I'm certain I'm going to be curious, I'm going to be excited, I'm going to be very peaceful, I'm going to be ready to go. But I know I'm not going to stop working even when I go. I know where I'm going. I'm going home.
Home.
I'm going home. Not for a long time, I hope, because I'm enjoying life. But one day I'll go home.
And it has been a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much for being here. And this is your home. You can come back whenever you wish.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for speaking in English for me, because as you know, my Spanish, although I do speak Spanish, it's muy poquito. No es suficiente por un interview. Gracias.
Gracias, Anne. Muchísimas gracias.
No.
Es tu casa.
Gracias.
And thank you very much, all of you, for seeing this week. Take care and see you next week. Bye-bye.